We are live, folks. Welcome to the Mighty Late Show. My name is
welcome to the Mighty Late Show.
To my left is Mr. Atu Walker, and to his left is Rachel Warner. And we're your three hosts for the evening. Oh, I'm just like, hooray. It makes me so happy to see your three faces because I feel like the last time I saw you was during the last Mighty Late Show, episode 2.
That's right.
This is episode 3. We're doing it. It's happening.
Yeah, we had a lot of viewers last show, and we got a lot of comments, which was great. Oh, look, Adriana, say hello, hi.
Oh, your hair's
Wow.
so cute. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a very cute picture of
Very
Adriana.
That's a good photo. I should have her do my whatever photo thing that I have.
Better finish that sentence. Yeah.
Right.
There you go. All right.
Well, you guys, my mom said she's going to watch tonight, so no pressure.
Oh, no.
But
Oh my
pressure.
gosh. Yeah. Pressure. Okay.
You know she's
Your
gonna-
mom is dope.
I mean, all she does is give birth to talent.
I know.
So
For real talk.
Very
What up?
talented ovaries on that woman.
no kidding.
Yeah, her ovaries are. Yeah, they're great. Good stuff. Good producing ovaries.
My mom gave birth to 6 people, and most of them have given birth to more people.
Yeah.
My mom is a birth giver to birth givers.
Exponential.
Yeah.
Exponential.
Got it.
Her birthday was on Thursday.
Congratulations! Happy birthday!
Yeah, she turned. My mom turned official retirement age.
Oh, snap!
Yeah, but she retired this time last year. So,
Oh no. Beat the system. Yes.
yeah, she's like, "Fuck the system, fuck the system." And have you guys seen my new stickers?
Oh, yo, I gotta give me some of those.
Yeah, you do.
That's fuck 2020 all day.
I figured I would run out of them pretty quickly, so I ordered 750 of them. So I have quite a few. So I will arm you. And those of you who live in San Jose watching right now, ask me how to get a San Jose "I'm one in a million" sticker.
Those stickers are great, especially for water bottles.
And
I don't know
yeah,
why.
they
They're
look.
specifically designed to go on.
Oh, here's
Hydro Flask.
Here's a sad sticker. Here's a sad one.
Yeah. Oh, go, gone is gone.
More like the show that went gone.
Yeah, I know. I'm not bummed about it's my birthday this week. I'm not bummed about a COVID birthday, but I'm super bummed about no birthday show. I've been doing a birthday
I
show
know.
for 10
Yeah.
years.
Maybe we should do a live birthday show on Facebook.
What I
We
want
could.
is bands to show up at my house on my birthday and play in the street. I don't think that's too much to
Oh, like
ask.
they did with Porch Fest.
No organization, no plan.
Yeah.
Just decide and show up. I'm not even going to tell my address.
Rachel,
Figure
Is
that
your-
all out.
is your birthday?
Figure out where Rachel is and bring your band.
That's
Just
right.
play. There's going to be a
Just
bunch
show
of people with ukuleles out there.
There's a band that you can hire out, and they will play whatever you want. And they will come like a dozen deep, and they will spread out on your street,
Wow.
and they will play at safe distances from each other for your entire block. Yeah. And I bet
Well,
there's a few people on your block that I'm sure would love to see another crowd.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of kids are figuring it out. They're figuring it out. Social distance outside. There's people are doing shows at drive-ins, which I think is very clever.
You can get a Tambaroso. You can get a Tambaroso band.
A comedy show at the Giant Stadium,
It
right?
looks like,
The San Jose
and it
Giants.
looks like the internet went out, but then we're back now.
Oh yeah.
Wait, did the internet go
it's-
out on you too? I didn't see anything.
Maybe it happened to me. All
That's you.
I saw was like a bunch of reloading faces.
All I see is a naked picture of Atu right now. That's all I
Yeah.
see. That's my screen.
All I see- All I see is two columns of nipples.
Maybe you opened a file.
Atu, more like Batu.
There we go.
So for the first time ever, the Mighty Late Show is now streaming on YouTube, which I haven't actually looked at. Oh,
what's up, YouTubers?
we look good. We look good on YouTube.
Yeah, damn good.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's only like a 5-second delay on YouTube too. That's great. No one is frozen. We can see you on Facebook. Yay! Thank you very much, Melanie. Appreciate that.
Yay.
Great.
Oh my gosh, it is. Yeah. So again, it's so nice to see both your faces. How are you? I want to do a checkup from the neck up. Atu Walker. No. I love you, Atu. You know I do. But let's go with Rachel. Rachel has. Rachel.
Okay, fine.
She's just been here slightly longer than you. So
yeah, I got the 20-second
birthday's coming up.
The go room. I'm doing pretty good. We're figuring distance learning out, and the original teacher that started the school year with my kid either quit or they moved her to another classroom, and she was very nice. Now we have a new teacher who knows her shit. She just knows how to work with the kids and keep them engaged online, which is like, I mean, all parents know, whether they have a special needs kid or not, all parents know trying to keep their kids engaged, you know, in this online format is difficult, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been like a breath of fresh air coming through, you know, and so it was a really good week. It was a really, really good week for that. So I'm doing pretty good.
That's great.
I'm happy to hear that you actually have a competent and accomplished teacher. It's wonderful when your child gets to interact with a teacher that knows what the fuck they're doing. Great job. That know what the fuck they're doing.
Teacher didn't. It's just that this teacher has way more chops and experience. You know what I mean? It was really nice, and the kids were doing a lot of work, but these kids, I mean, it's just a difference, a very positive difference.
Yeah, that's great.
So that's great. And I told you guys I had to take a COVID test last time we were all together, and it came back negative. It was just smoke from the fire. Of course. But then I was able to go down and visit my family with a guilt-free, social distance conscience.
Yay!
Yeah.
That's so great.
Pretty good, you know, considering the world is burning. How about you, Atu? How are you doing?
You know what? I've been in a very, like, this past week has been a bit up and down for me because I don't know if I was just like in a bad mental space or if I just didn't microdose correctly this week or something. Like I was just a little off, like my feathers were ruffled more than usual. I'm a very sensitive person, and I think a lot of times, you know, I take it for granted because I'm able to calm myself down pretty quickly most of the time. But there are other times where I can't, and so I've had some bouts of like, what the fuck? A lot of that, like inside my brain this week, and then, you know, also when you're interacting with your co-parent. By the way, I have a co-parenting podcast. Everybody check it out. It's the Co-Parent Trap. It's on iTunes now or Apple Podcasts. You should check it out. Anyway, shameless plug. But I have challenges with my co-parent because me and her have different ideologies when it comes to work and discipline. So she's a little more on the forgiving and loose end when it comes to things, and she doesn't want to bog my son down with the heavy responsibilities of life. And I'm more of, here are all the heavy responsibilities of life. Take it on, kid. You can do it. And so I don't know if I got to figure out a better strategy in engaging with him instead of coming out of a place of like sternness and just get it done. You'll be better for it if you just get it done. I don't know if it's working for me or him. But I had a little chat with him and just let him know, like, hey, you need to this is the time. He's 7, he's going into 8. To me, when I was a kid, this was the time where I took on a lot of responsibility in my household. Like I learned how to wash clothes, I learned how to cook and clean, I learned how to clean the bathroom, I learned how to wash the dishes, all these different things. I cleaned up after myself in my room, so part of me is like, I want to instill in him, especially because I want to instill that in him. Like, you can get yourself together. I shouldn't have to do it anymore. You're no longer baby Otlizel. And then, he's like, I am a baby. Leave me alone. No, he doesn't do that. But he's a great kid. I'm just trying to push him to be more accountable for his own stuff. Just like we're trying to push our government and they just keep blaming us and it's all our fault. And we're like, what? No, not our fault. You guys are stupid.
You guys are stupid. I gotta say, like, it's funny when I feel like I would be a pretty good parent. I feel like I would be a pretty good stepdad. But I feel like, if I had my own kids, I'm sure I'd be fine with them. They're like a cat, right? You pour food into a bowl on the floor and
no.
let them go, right?
Well, sometimes your kids might eat that over the food you slave over.
For sure.
And then, like, you think it's delicious, and they immediately turn up their nose, like, "Oh, God forbid, I would never eat this."
Look at how we feed kids. Like, pouring cereal into a bowl is not that different from pouring dog food into a bowl. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the folks that I know who have kids don't feed them cereal anyway, so that's probably a good thing. But anyhow, I feel like what do you do? I feel like I would become so impatient with a kid. I feel like I would be so. Like, I would be understanding, but I would lose my head every once in a while. I'd lose my cool every once in a while, and just get frustrated. So what do you do to not get? What's your release? How do you? I'm sure there are times where you've yelled at your kid, and you're like, oh wow, I really should not have yelled at my kid.
All the time.
First of all, it's different. It's different when they're your kids. in terms of ability to put up with shit. You know what I mean? But just like anything, there are tools that make parenting easier. And because my daughter is autistic, I've had a lot of like very specific training. Like, a woman came to my house every week for 6 months from Catholic Charities, and she did something with me called the positive parenting principle. And basically, and it's helpful, but let me just say this. I am not a perfect parent. I definitely lose my shit, and everybody does lose their shit. And I think that as long as it's not abusive, it's healthy, because if you're never angry around your kid, that doesn't give your permission to your kid to ever be angry. Everybody gets upset. Everybody gets angry. The important part is for them to see you fall apart and then come back together. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that there's a process to it of everybody gets mad, they get over it, and so it's, yes, I get mad and you get mad, and that's okay, but let's figure out a way to do it so that it's not too destructive or whatever. Sure. But positive parenting principle basically talks about when you are in a confrontation with your child, with anybody, what happens is your fight or flight kicks in. And so if you have a 2-year-old screaming at you, your 2-year-old inside you wants to react the same way that the 2-year-old is acting to you. So the trick is to try to keep in your mind, you're the adult. Yeah. You don't have to rise to meet them. You don't have to escalate. If they're upset, you don't have to get upset. The trick is to be the wall, the steady thing for them to to push against, you know.
Ooh.
So that was really helpful for me. But like I have my moments. Good, just do it. You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't? Everybody has those moments, but they're way less than they would have been without the training.
Yeah.
You know, because you parent how you were parented, and so there's always good stuff there, and then there's stuff that you need to unlearn. Also, you know,
my mom did a really good job. She you know, she would leave for work and she would just put a big stuffed animal pointed right at us and was like, "That's your dad, so just listen to him." You know, it was just like he never said anything, so we never went anywhere. You know? So made it easy. I want to thank Sarah Levine. Sarah just said that you'd be a great parent, Mike. I think I would too, but teaching kids is enough. She's a fantastic teacher. I don't want to come home to more of them. Happy to be a blood chosen aunt to many instead. Same. I'm a blood chosen uncle, which sounds like the most like dad joke Satan worshiping, you know, like a blood chosen uncle.
You made a blood pact.
Yeah. I should say, as an uncle, I want to spread the term nibbling. All right, nibbling is a non-gender specific pluralization of nieces and nephews, right? Nibbling. But you're not being specific. You're not being specific about the gender, and I think that's a brilliant term. It's the niblet of your siblings, right? You know, that's what it is.
Nibbling.
Nibbling. Yeah, I'm gonna type it into the comments. Oh, see, yeah, of course, Melanie, you're right. And in many cases, based on my size alone, I am a large part of the village. Okay. Okay. Some might call me the troll under the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when I charge them money to pass, then yeah, you know. Nibbling. I'm typing it in. I also want to bring on our first guest in a hot second. I don't want to keep him waiting. Apparently he's having a hard time coming in and out for whatever reason. So but
coming in and out too.
Wow. Okay. This show's not late enough.
Sorry about that.
No. You're fine. You're fine. I don't think anyone is putting. I don't think anyone's putting like their kids in front of the computer to watch this show. You know, I think we're safe. I think we're pretty safe. But I do want to thank you both for joining me on this experiment of making a show we can enjoy doing. Yeah. That is easy and fun and gets something done, you know. And it's also an opportunity to hang out with y'all. Yeah. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something and I don't remember what it was. Oh, yeah. We're gonna bring on River. I mean, for a lot of our audience, River doesn't really need much of an introduction because River is very closely associated with sort of the downtown caravan scene, especially. What's that?
The downtown music and art scene in San Jose.
Absolutely.
And skateboarding. Don't forget skateboarding. He's an amazing
skateboarding. He's a big time skateboarder. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I did not know. This is new to me, and I wish I wish that because I've never hung out with River away more than 10 feet away from amps. You know what I mean? Like kind of hard to skateboard around a bunch of amps inside of a building. I mean, you're not even allowed to mosh inside the caravan, let alone skateboard. I'd love to see somebody do an ollie in the middle of the caravan.
A River skate video party at the caravan one night that showed video of him skating and like everybody showed up. It was really cool.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. River is one half, right? Am I saying that right? One half of Panhandlers Union, and keeps losing connection. So I'm just stalling until River comes back. I feel really bad. I don't know what's going on with the stream, but I'm going to add him. Folks, please welcome River Black.
Yeah, Joey's cracking.
Yay, River.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
miss you guys so much.
miss you too.
Well, should I just give it a go?
Yeah. Go ahead and bust out a couple of songs, and then we'll chat. We'll check in with you.
All right. Well, I know you guys haven't talked about the news yet, but this song goes out to Breonna Taylor's family.
Oh, thank you.
Knock, knock, open up, here they come. The police and coming with a badge and a gun. He don't give a shit about the Constitution. So run, citizen, run, run. Stop resisting, you're breaking the law. I think I smell smoke and that's probable cause. So turn around and put your hands on your head, cause if you don't, then you wind up dead. I sweat it out in a 6x9 on a third strike law, non-violent crime. There's no help for the penniless, and my public pretender offers no defense. Incarcerated, rotting in jail, waiting on my trial, but I can't afford bail. Well, Mr. Wall Street banker, man, he gets set free after robbing poor people like me and Stone to eat. I can't breathe. Calling cap, take a knee. Hands up, don't shoot me. DEA declare a war on drugs, but what's more is it's a war on poor people like us. Incarceration with powers granted by the nation and the state. Profile and prejudice, a system of hate. Profit on the laws that they write, so let's riot, stop the fire tonight. I'm gonna do a short one for you guys. I don't believe in cops, bosses, and politicians. Some might call that anarchism. I call it having a fucking heart that beats. I do believe in freedom and not giving up. Fighting cops, don't give a fuck. Well, I gotta be able to breathe. And if you want to breathe too, then come and fight some cops with me. A rock song won't ever change the world. And I can tell you about a couple that changed me. So tonight, we're gonna fuck shit up. Oh, tonight, we're gonna fuck shit up. Oh, tonight, we're gonna fuck shit up. Punk rock song won't ever change the world. But I can tell you about a couple that changed me. So tonight, we're gonna fuck shit up. Oh, tonight, we're gonna fuck shit up. Oh, tonight, we're gonna fuck shit up.
Woo! Yeah!
Thank you, guys.
Hey, that's exactly what I was hoping for.
Thank you.
I really like. I was like, it's what a perfect way to really begin the night. You know, welcome to autumn.
Yeah.
River, I got to get you a stack of these stickers. You need I don't know if you want any, but I'm going to give you some no matter what. And then when you go out wherever, just throw them everywhere. Put them on people's faces. I don't care. You know, fuck shit up with stickers.
Fuck shit up.
And other things. I just can't tell you what. You have to decide for yourself what you're gonna fuck shit up with.
I want to show you guys the sticker.
You want
I
what?
want to show you guys the sticker on my banjo.
Oh, I want to see it.
I want you to see the sticker.
Sure.
Can you see that?
You're frozen on my end. I don't
You see
know.
it in front? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting frozen pizza too.
Oh. Well, that's
I think Melissa. I think Melissa liked the Fuck 2020 stickers. Melissa, I'll have to send you some. And Brian Cisco says, can't go wrong with some Panhandlers Union or Wingnut Dishwashers Union.
Yeah.
That's right, Brian Cisco. That's right, Brian Cisco.
Says.
Yes, there we go. Restore voting rights.
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah.
There's a John Lewis Voting Rights Act that they're still trying to get passed in the Senate right now. Well, they won't pass it in the Senate. But
we lost River.
We did lose River.
Thank you, River.
He'll be back. I'm sure he'll be back. I hope he's back.
Yeah.
And we're also supposed to have a Mondo joining us in a little while as well. He's playing a show in Oakland, from what I understand.
Yeah, with Agnostic Blunt, one of his many bands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's in like 15 bands, right?
He's in the Roughies now, and of course Domino and the Derelicts.
He's in the Ruppies now?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's him and Patrick Kaufman, and then Andrew Seipert, who is this very good drummer, just recently joined. So I'm excited to hear the new version of the Ruppies because they're all.
Hi, Melissa. Yeah, that's great. It's nice to see regular faces joining us, or at least regular names joining us.
People that we possibly may or may not know.
Well, I mean, I've met Melissa a few times. I've met Melissa.
Hang out with Amy Anderson all the time.
Yeah, and they would both come to Go Go Gone show every once in a while. Melissa says, "Howdy."
Howdy.
But so I wanted to talk to you guys about a couple of things, and I'm sure River would jump in on this too. But I wanted to point out that I deactivated my Instagram and I put my Twitter on hiatus. And Atu called me. He goes, "Are you not on Instagram anymore?" and because was there a little panic like you had forgotten how to spell my name?
You have no idea how much Instagram is part of my life. Like, you have no idea how much.
I do. That's why I deactivated mine.
So I love Instagram because Instagram is quick. It's easy. You can look at stuff. There's no, there's not, I don't really have to have a conversation on Instagram about anything. I just post whatever it is I'm going to post, and I scroll up and I look at all the different things that are going on there, and that's about it. And then it's Instagram is great because a picture is worth 1,000 words and more. And I like sending pictures to Mike and fun little clips to Mike.
So he hurt you, is what you're saying. He hurt you.
And other people, it's like my way, because I can't give food to people. So pictures is the next best thing, I feel like. So if I find a nice photo of anything, it could be anything, it could be mountains, it could be valleys, but sometimes you have photos with mountains and valleys that you want to send, and those are good photos. Sometimes there's waterfalls, you got to send those photos. And it was sad to me because I saw this really great picture. I saw a really great picture. And I was like, I know Mike would love this. I know he would love it. And I was like, I took the time and I said, and I was going to send it to him, but I noticed Like he's like on the top. He's always in my top 5 of people that I send stuff to. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? Mike's not on Instagram. And
I didn't delete it.
Where it's like something must have happened to Mike. What's going on? No.
Yeah, and it was. I know if Atu calls, it's one of two things. He's about to go get food, and he wants to know if I want some too, or he's in my driveway, or 3, something's wrong. Something's wrong, and that one, and the third one is super rare. Can't even call it like a full third. It's a half a reason for him to call.
I always call you when I'm in your neighborhood, like 100%.
Yeah. He's like, hey, I'm on 4th Street. I'm about to turn onto your block right now.
Right.
Come outside. The first time during COVID, the first time Atu came over, I didn't actually even see him. He dropped something off and literally ran up the porch, set it on the table, and ran back to his car and left. And I was like, I thought we were gonna hang out. And he's like, I don't want to kill you. I didn't want you to die. I didn't want to give you COVID. I didn't want, he did not know how to handle poor old diabetic me,
Yeah.
And I love him for it. I love you for it, Atu.
Yeah.
You're a good human being. But we hang out in my driveway.
Yeah,
We
that's
know
pretty
a little
cool.
bit more now, don't we, about how it.
Oh yeah.
Stuff. I mean, we were all flying blind. I mean, not that we're not now, but even more blind the first couple months.
Protocol, like
it's on every surface, and you know what I mean. It was like we had no idea.
Yeah.
I think now.
Well, now, yeah.
The knowledge to safely socially distance on occasion. Don't abuse it, but
As long as you've had a test recently, it's just like sex, kind of like if you're pretty much safe and you haven't been mixy with other people, like you can visit with people and it's pretty okay. It's like as long as you're not like hocking loogies in each other's mouths, I think you'll be fine.
And if you know you're sick, let everyone know that you're sick and to stay away.
I'm feeling sick, or
that's simple. Wash your hands. Carry some sanitizer. If you can't wash your hands, you got, Melissa says that her audio is stalling, or we're stalling. That's got to be on your end, Melissa, because I think we're pretty clear on this side.
Yeah, everybody's internet is not up to par. And I'm sorry, DSL is not a fan of anything that anybody wants to watch and stream.
Watch and stream.
DSL hates people.
Maybe she means that on Facebook the feed is frozen.
Maybe. I'm going to look at it right now.
That's the live feed right there.
Oh, you can see it? Okay.
Yeah, it's not doing anything.
Where's the live feed?
This is on the Mighty Late page.
Oh, snap.
So
it's frozen there?
Yeah, it's frozen there.
I look really cute in that picture,
though. The YouTube one's working. I just checked the YouTube one.
That's weird. It could be Facebook. Facebook can often be very poopy, which is another reason why I'm streaming it to YouTube.
That's great.
Now I've been considering, because the reason I'm bringing up the whole not taking a fat break from
Instagram and
Twitter is because I'm really trying to sort of reboot, and figure out what do I want from these services. Since I'm going to be giving them, my stuff, I want something. Taylor Killam says it is the feed's good. Yeah, I had a feeling. I had a sneaking suspicion.
Hi, Taylor. I love you.
Goes cracking, Taylor.
Yeah, Melissa, if you're having an issue with the audio and stuff, go over to YouTube. Go watch it on YouTube. I'll post the link one more to my page. But yeah, I'm tired of too much social media. I like a little bit of social media, but now that I'm not promoting much, I'm basically promoting this and a couple of other things. But like, I don't need to put my name out there in the way that I was over the last few years, you know? And so I don't want to, and I can sit at a desk and be at a computer all day long. And it's probably killing me, you know? It's probably actually killing me. And so I want to be in a space where I can say no to, like, no, I'm not gonna spend a whole bunch of time on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook all at the same time. So I kind of took a look at who is on my social media that I love. Who do I love? Well, there's some folks on Twitter and there are some folks on Instagram, but there are a lot of folks on Facebook who I love. And that's where my family is. It's where the people whose middle names I know and birthdays I know, you know, and that's important to me. And it's very, very important for me to stay connected and actually have a real connection. And to know that if I'm going to be on Facebook, I might not be giving them a whole lot of my information, but they're going to get it they're going to get it anyway.
Yeah.
They all are. Instagram is also a part of Facebook. So they're all going to get that information out of me. So I might as well get something of value out of them and use it as a true communication tool. So that's why and I wasn't using Instagram or Twitter to communicate. I was using it to post. I was using it to, like, hey, everybody, most of you I kind of know. Here's a thing of mine. Here's more things of mine, you know, and it's just, it didn't feel, it just felt less and less genuine, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I do get hit up by more random bots on Instagram than I do any other service. So it's very nice sometimes, because sometimes you don't know what the bots want, and it'll take half your day to figure it out, you know? But like, it's fun sometimes having that level of engagement where they're asking you a lot of questions about where you live and your bank account information. You're like, why do you want my bank account information? Who are you? Can you give me your bank account information? And then they send you LOLs and little hearts and go, oh, you're funny. Are you like a funny guy? And I'm like, yeah, I'm funny. Who are you? And why are you contacting me? I like to investigate. I want to find out who all the bots are. I really want to know.
Rachel, I've noticed that you are most active on Facebook.
I am. I don't really do much of anything else. I definitely have a Facebook addiction. Before I really needed to use it a lot for work, for posting shows and stuff. And now that I am not working, I thought that maybe my Facebook time would go down, but I go down the K-hole, man. And I just, I want to be informed, and one news article leads to the next, to the next, to the next, or whatever. And yeah, I mean, I'm on there at least a couple hours a day, easily.
Yeah.
Netflix just came out with a documentary called The Social Dilemma, and I checked it out yet, but it's about, and I actually almost watched it today, but then I decided to watch something else instead, which I can't even remember what that is.
So
it's about the impact of social media on your life, on your brain, how it feeds your life, and also it starts informing your life. It starts dictating and informing your life, and so I'm interested to see it.
It's full of, they do a lot of interviews with folks who worked for all those social networks, who were especially like at the dawn of a lot of those social networks. And it was like, this guy worked at his last job was at Pinterest, but he started at this company, and then before that he worked at this company, and before that he helped launch this company, and he's on there like, get off of it, like, don't.
I used to have a lot of friends that worked in like in the early days and like in securities and stuff like that, internet. I have a friend that lives in LA right now, and all he does is work in security for platforms, and he sells like some software and stuff like that, and he has no internet presence whatsoever. Like, you can't find him, you can't look him up. If you try and Google his name, nothing comes up.
Off the grid.
Like, I barely have his phone number, and if I text him, I know he'll not respond. He'll probably send me an email and be like, yo, text my wife. I'm not really doing the phone thing right now.
Well, I went to go see a friend today, and he was telling another friend that he was going to meet me for coffee today, and he asked that friend. He asked his friend if he knew who I was. He said, "Do you know Mike McGee or Mighty Mike McGee?" And the guy, I don't know if the guy said yes or no, but my friend then went online and just Googled Mighty Mike McGee and found my Wikipedia page. And even that is like, that hasn't been updated since 2008, 2007, 2008. There's like and some of the information's wrong. It's really weird. It's really, really strange. Like how much I rely on Wikipedia for a lot of information, yet I don't trust the information that's up there about myself. You know what I mean? Like it's such a weird thing.
Yeah, how accurate is it really?
I urge anyone watching right now, please go to my Wikipedia page and add whatever you want. I figure if it's going to be wrong, let's be really wrong. Just go edit. If you've never edited, use my page as a sandbox because it's just the same thing over and over again. But yeah,
I'm gonna put a whole article on there known as the bear that hangs out at St. James Park.
Yeah, that's great. I wonder if St. James Park has a Wikipedia page. I bet it does.
I think they do.
It must.
It is famous.
It's the oldest park it's the oldest park in the South Bay. And it's the only park that started as a park that was never anything else. It was established in like the 1850s.
Whoa.
It's a very old park, and it was always a park, and it's had the layout and the trees, everything has changed so much over the years, over the last 170 years.
It's also the site of the last public lynching in the United States.
Or the state of California.
State of California, excuse me. State of California.
And you know who was present for that lynching?
Everybody. Thousands of people. They announced it on the radio. All these fucking farmers.
People drove up from LA.
With their families and their Model Ts and drove up for the fruit guy, right? The heir to the fruit company that got kidnapped. Killed?
No, his son kidnapped or something. Yeah,
it was the Heart department store. It was the son.
But they kidnapped him and
18
killed
or 19.
him.
Yeah.
Threw him off the Dumbarton Bridge.
Yeah.
And then they were captured and then brought out of the courthouse and lynched in St. James Park.
Well, and they got their ransom too, and killed him anyway.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think that's why people were mad.
Because
because
they didn't honor the business arrangement.
Yeah. They shirked them on the deal.
Yeah. But we don't really know what happened. I mean, I probably think that guy was probably a dick. They're just like wanting to offer me anyway. You know, I just have like imaginings where people are just assholes. You know, he might have been an asshole. They were just like, fuck that guy. Throw him off a bridge.
Wikipedia.org/wiki/St. James Park, San Jose. Bam.
Thanks, Brian.
I knew I could count on Brian. I think Brian should just be our official info guy.
Fact checker at all.
Fact checker.
I love it.
Yeah. I love you, Brian Sisko, and I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, Brian is the dopest.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
Brian has not missed a show.
Yeah.
To this day, he hasn't missed a show.
To this day, he has been watching us perform since we were all children.
Yeah.
And we're all older than him. I think, you guys ready? Would you guys be down to hear a couple more songs from River Black? I know I would.
Sure, let's go for it. Let's do it.
I think it's high time we have some more River Black. I do hope our dear friend RB is ready. Mr. Black, here we go. Please welcome River Black back to the stage, folks.
Yo, River Black.
Wow, this is quite the honor that you guys are letting me do this.
Yeah, we're having fun with you, bro.
That's what honor is all ours.
Oh, that's a way better connection too.
Woo. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll do one about the plague. How about that? This one's
Oh, that's good. With that energy.
hang your head, little Donnie, hang your head and cry. You killed 200,000 Americans, and the count is on the rise. Left us on a hilltop for the Senate tells their lies. Left us on the hilltop and now you took our lives. You dug the graves 4 feet long and you dug them 3 feet deep. Oh, you rolled the cold clay over us, you trumped it with your feet. I said, hang your head, little Donnie, hang your head and cry. You killed 200,000 Americans and the count is on the rise. Hang your head, little Donnie, hang your head and cry. You killed 200,000 Americans, and the count is on the rise. Got this time tomorrow, Trump, where do you reckon you'll be? Be down yonder in the holler, hanging from a white oak tree. I'm gonna pull down your old banjo, bitch, I'll play it all at please. By this time tomorrow, Trump, it'll be of more use to me. I said, hang your head, little Donnie, hang your head and cry. You killed 200,000 Americans, and the count is on the rise.
That was catchy and depressing.
Nice.
It kind of gets more relevant in days past.
Dude,
Uh,
that was
This
awesome.
This one's called Better Person. Resurrect me from the dead, release me from my prison head, take the toxins out the food I'm being fed, and next time instead of praying, take out.
I mean, it's a good screenshot.
It is. Oh man, we lost
Did it freeze for real?
it.
It-
Did.
Seems to have, yes. We lost him, but he's coming back.
He's coming back. Hang your head, little
There it
Donnie.
is.
What was that?
Oh, you froze, left, and came back.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
So do you want to go ahead and start that song over? Let's hear it again.
well, we call that a rewind.
Whoop.
Resurrect me from the dead, release me from my prison head, take the toxins out the food I'm being fed, and next time instead of praying, take action instead. Get molesters, predators out of the schools, go to the White House, remove that fucking fool, send him to jail so he can pay up his dues, all for lying, deceiving, and distorting the truth. And imagine a world without racism. Smoke all your Buddha with stoneism. Stop the soldiers taking on an ammunition and bring them back home to return to living. Broadcasting live from the rat race. Politicians and the preachers keep the facts laced with lies, and it's no surprise that we walk around ignorant, uninformed, and unwise. With only $20 to spend, the tendencies to get drunk, don't eat, and grow thin. With that Uncle Sam reaching out his hand, it makes me feel like an anarchist. It's who the hell I am. Get the fuck out of my way, I'm going nowhere in a hurry with the Anheuser-Busch. St. Louis, Missouri, wicked is the way that Rachel done served me. Cause every damn day I gotta get my soul dirty. Seems I can't think without a fucking drink. So if ain't got a drink, don't expect me to think. I get drunk and I skank and I rock the boat. And as I exhale the large clouds of audible smoke, to launch a dope from the wrong direction. It's a slippery slope with the alcohol selection. But to get drunk and go fuck tonight. Fuck a fat dub of some trip tonight. Now get my style at your lips, I'll give you dick to bite. The stoner E is not a regular type. If you need to feel alive, you know I need to feel alive. Don't wanna start a motherfucking bar fight. I'm trying to be a better person. Got so far to go, and it's possible that I could change myself, but the rest of the world I just don't know. Trying to be a better person. Got so far to go, and it's possible that I could change myself, but the rest of the world I just don't know. Rest of the world I just don't know. Rest of the world I just don't know.
Yay!
Give it up for River Black, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm
We're having a
guys so,
great time.
like so
What happened?
much.
What was that, River? I'm sorry, you cut out a
missed
little bit.
you guys so much over these past
Oh
6
I
months.
know.
yeah.
Quarantine
Yeah, I know.
was real low, like doom scrolling all the time. You guys were talking about social media, and like I catch myself like just reading all the bad headlines over and over again, and just oh man, it sucks. But
Yeah.
I had to. I realized that one, I had had a subscription to Washington Post and New York Times, and I realized that as cheap as that was, it was destroying my day every day. And I realized that I got tomato plants and garlic that I need to tend to. I need to eat. There might be maybe there's a revolution coming. Maybe there's going to be a dictatorship in November. Maybe, but I need to be able to know how to fend for myself if that is the case. Also, too, like we live in California. Like what we need to really focus on is making sure places like Georgia and Arkansas and Oklahoma and the people in Texas who don't want to live in a shitty red state that sucks Donald Trump's dick. We need to make sure that those folks know that there are other places they can be if they absolutely have to be. And maybe they should. But I don't know. I mean, like there's a large part of me that thinks like, well, what if we gave, it's not very feasible, but what if we gave, what if this part of the country, everyone who loves Trump can move over here? Like you can have the southeast corner of the country, and then we'll have this side, and these folks will have this side. But then I realized it was like, it's way more marbled than that.
Yeah.
It's not that simple,
Yeah.
we fought a war about that. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And we're not
Get everybody. If we can just get all the Confederate folks, move them to Florida, I'd be down with that. Like Florida's fine. We don't really need Florida. Florida's just kind of a place. We just put them all in Florida. It'll be fine. We'll be good.
Yeah. Until we abolish the Electoral College, there will always be unrepresented people in every state.
Yeah.
There's a lot of red folks in California whose votes don't count. You know what I mean? Just like there's a lot of blue votes in Georgia that don't count. And B is one person, one vote.
Yeah, that
will go a long way towards alleviating that feeling of helplessness because of where you live.
Right.
Inability to make any real change because of where you live. One person, one vote.
We have to definitely restore all the voting rights. Like anywhere where they're passing voter ID law, like literacy test, fucking bullshit. and then
Yeah,
get
the
rid of
John
the.
Lewis Voting Rights Act
Yeah.
is what we got to support. We got to support that. We got to tell our senators to vote for it. They're going to keep throwing it out there as long as we can, and we need to get that passed.
Yeah,
we
it's
can do that. Is getting rid of all these crazy people in the Senate right now. Mitch McConnell's got to go.
Dude.
Gotta go.
Fuck that.
Yeah, he does. It was funny. Is the day RBG died. I along with probably a whole bunch of other folks donated money to various campaigns and much needed funding. We're in a weird place, but at the same time, like, we're too smart to not figure this out. We really are. We're too smart, and it's like we live in. Well, yeah, I mean, okay. Kristen said that not everyone from Florida is horrible, but most of them are. Honestly, the best people I've ever met from Florida don't live in Florida anymore. So I've been to Florida. It's an armpit. Although I will say this, West Palm Beach was nice. It was very nice. Noggin made it, folks.
Hey,
cracking Noggin.
Everybody's got your art on the wall.
Everybody has your art. I got here. Noggin, the lunchbox you painted me is right here. It's right here. And I'm celebrating it. It's hooray time. River, I got a question for you. If you could change, aside from voting rights and voting laws, what else would you like to change? What's number 2 for you that you'd like to fix, that you'd like to I mean, aside from shifting the current administration?
Well, there's I think KP put it best. He brought up gerrymandering districts.
Yeah, that's a problem. And
that's just a horrible practice. There's a lot of stuff I'd like to change. How about restricting power of executive orders?
Well, the executive orders, they're just kind of like he can do policy changes, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're enforceable. So if he can, it's just kind of like, hey, I want us to. He can't change a law, but he can change how policy happens. So sometimes when you get executive orders, that's what those are about. Like, they're like how they're going to do things in relationship to the law. That's kind of like what it's centered around. So,
but he does it. If no one checks him, he can make almost anything an executive power. That's the whole point of checks and balances. But he doesn't have any natural enemies that are in the majority currently. Yeah. We've lost River again.
Yeah. And the Democrats, despite all the performative opposition, Democrats are still funding a lot of said policies, and Trump administration's getting a bunch of judges, and scary times, man. You know, I was talking to somebody on Facebook, right? And I said, we're at civil war. This was right after Kyle Rittenhouse gunned down a couple of protesters in Kenosha, and we're at civil war. And her argument was, well, we're not at civil war because no civil war has been declared. I'm like, declared or not, citizens are shooting each other in the street and fucking running each other over with cars. And it's like, regardless if they're police or not, that those things to me are acts of war. We're there already. We're just in denial about it.
Yeah, and right now, what are the Proud Boys? The Proud Boys are rolling up right now, patrolling Portland. Really? We need another group of angry white men to tell us what to do. Like, I don't care how many creatines you've had today. Like, I don't need you to tell me how to live my life. It's it's just beyond me the level of shit these motherfuckers are pulling. I didn't mean to put it like that, but like I just ooh. Like I wish a Proud Boy would come to my house trying to talk to me about some trash.
Yeah, but
like,
you're not gonna get that in California. It's not gonna. And maybe if you head out to,
I was gonna say.
they out here, but they scared. You know, they out here. Proud Boys are the majority. Yeah, they scared to do stuff out here because they know folks right here out here ain't gonna be like having it. Like we've had race riots in California before in the 90s. I remember because it happened in high school. You know what I mean? Like those times, that's when it happened. You know, and I remember folks not being scared and not backing down from stuff. And one of the reasons why I moved to the Bay Area in general is just because like I didn't like how that was back in the 90s when people were kind of approaching each other in that way. And I wanted to be in a different environment where folks were more accepting of one another and more interested in having a conversation rather than just being like, well, you're Mexican and you're white. I can't hang out with you. Like, I don't believe in that. Like, we're all human. We're all worthy of grace and beauty in our lives. But it sucks. The ideology and the race baiting and all this type of stuff, all of it sucks. And it happens because people feel like their community is better based on what? Nothing. You know, our community, my community where I grew up was generally safe for me, you know, but there's this whole idea that because of the community that I grew up in was not the desired community of people who had wealth and power, it was somehow bad. And that just goes back to the 1930s. It goes back to the 1920s when we had the GI Bill, and they figured out a way to make sure that Black men couldn't use their GI Bill. They redlined areas and said, well, you can't live outside of here. And that's all where it comes from. But not everybody knows that. Not everybody knows that the redline areas are still the same communities that have the food deserts and have the diabetes problems and have the pollution problems and all these different type of things because our communities were never valued.
And it was deliberate also. It was
deliberate. It was racist and it was deliberate. And anybody that didn't fit that Protestant white picket fence kind of lifestyle or role got booted from those the areas that had equal resources for everyone. If you think about it like that, suburbs and all those nice places, they have equal resources for everybody. Everybody has access to the same information. But folks who don't live in those areas, no, don't give them any information. Don't tell them how to find the stuff. Because we want it for ourselves. Fuck them. And that's the problem. It's the number one problem in America, and it's still going on. Mitch McConnell still believes in it. And, you know, throw his turtleneck in his face. I don't know.
Turtle head, you mean? That guy. Let's get into hella news. We've
hella news.
Atu, you sent us 2, or did you send us 3?
I sent 3. The first one, they're basically articles from Breonna Taylor.
Uh-oh.
There, he's back.
You froze, Atu. Can you repeat what you just said?
I said I definitely want us to talk about Breonna Taylor and the recent decision that the Attorney General of Kentucky made in relationship to trying that case. They did a grand jury situation, and the lawyer for Breonna Taylor's family came out with a statement recently and basically was like, it doesn't look like they looked at all the evidence in the jury. All of the records from the grand jury have been sealed. But when he came out and made an announcement, they knew about the announcement for more than a week. And then they came out and said it. And of course, it wasn't something that anyone really wanted in the situation. No one wants to hear that the one person that they did charge, they charged them with spraying bullets throughout the house and possibly could have injured the neighbors above. And then, you know, he's also getting charged for some potential friendly fire to some of the other officers involved, because it sounds to me like whatever happened in the situation, the evidence suggests that they just kind of went in gun blazing, and the guy who is Breonna Taylor's boyfriend at the time, shot back, and then things got wild after that. And then they hid evidence, and they didn't file the reports right, and none of that evidence was included in the grand jury stuff. So
now, and the boyfriend fired back in self-defense, right? Was like protecting.
This is, as I understand it, and I have done a lot of reading, but I'm no expert by any means. But so Breonna Taylor's ex-boyfriend was a drug dealer. Okay. Mm-hmm. The no-knock warrant that they had was for him. They already had him in custody. 2 days before. 2 days before, they executed the no-knock warrant. Breonna Taylor and her old man were sleeping in bed. Her current old man, who is not a drug dealer, who is not a criminal, nothing. They burst the door open. He had a gun. He shot it into the floor as a warning, and they opened fire. They just completely unloaded. And so no charges for 2 of the officers. And the one officer got, like Atu said, basically indicted for property damage, for shooting some walls.
Right.
Basically for the bullets that missed, and was out on a $15,000 bond.
Yeah.
And that was it. Where a protester getting arrested for protesting this would be out on a $100,000 bond. If that tells you anything about just how completely fucked up it was.
No,
and
yeah.
The amount of misinformation going on about who Breonna Taylor is, who her boyfriend is, confusing the 2 men, it's obviously it's deliberate. But I did read the boyfriend, the actual drug dealer who's in jail, they offered to set him free if he said that Breonna Taylor was involved with his drug activity. They said, we will set you free, or you can do 10 years. And you know what he did? He took the fucking 10 years. He did not go for it, which is pretty amazing, because 10 years of your life, But
either way,
they wouldn't have paid her fucking family $12 million.
It's just the railroading in general of this whole family, and how they treated them throughout the process. It speaks to how law enforcement consistently is disrespectful to communities of color. How the assumption about the guilt is more paramount than them being able to actually prove the facts of whatever it is that they think happened. And that happens way too often in our community. It happens way too often in our communities, where they have zero evidence, but they charging folks anyway. Zero evidence, but they charging folks anyway. Throwing folks in jail, going through the whole process. That happened to me. I'm a person. I caught charges. The cops beat me up and then charged me with their injuries as a result of them beating up on me, where I didn't put hands on them at all. I'm a big dude. I got hands. I know a little bit of jujitsu. I could have hurt some fools that night. But
you probably wouldn't be here to tell us about it.
No, I wouldn't. I would be a dead man if I had to snap one of those fools' necks, for sure. But that doesn't mean that I wanted to, or just because I know how, that I'm going to assert myself in a situation like that. In a lot of times, when Black folks or any person of color is in that situation, it fucks your head a little bit. You know what I mean? Because we have to be the one to be calm. We have to be calm when they're trying to escalate the shit. And I know that this is what happened. They walked in that house and escalated shit to a level that it didn't need to be escalated to. And then now they murdered her. At least manslaughter charges should have been, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something. and then they don't get any. There's no repercussions for their failure to do their due diligence in relationship to their jobs.
Mhm.
You know, one of the things that somebody brought up earlier is that police officers should have their own malpractice insurance, just like doctors do. Because you're a civil servant, and if you go out on a job and you're not following policy, we need to put insurance on your butt. Like, because whatever it is you out here doing, harming folks, pulling folks out of their car, yelling at them and screaming at them and abusing them because, you know, you feel like it's your prerogative to police people, then maybe you should take responsibility for your actions. And right now, police officers don't have, there's no real way you can hold them accountable. The unions are all in league with everyone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They are legally protected from being from being being able to sue them, basically, or take them to court.
And we should
we pay the settlements. We
pay the settlement. The Americans, we pay the settlement.
It's not their money. It's not the money coming out of their fucking retirement fund. It's our money. You know. That's
where we should hit them in the pockets. If you fuck up on the job, your retirement gets affected. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. And
I like what Kristen says about the police having to live in the areas where they police. I think that's a very good point. It's a very valid point. And
you'll be nicer to your neighbors than you would if you didn't live in that community. Like, you know, absolutely. I don't know how many police officers live in Pleasanton. Pleasanton ain't pleasant for me, you know. Mm-hmm. Why don't you come over here and live in San Jose, drive all the way from Pleasanton and live in, why don't you live in San Jose and police San Jose? Or recruit people from our community to be on the police department rather than having these fools that don't care about our community at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The fact that, I mean, you got folks who, I mean, in order to handle mental illness, in order to be able to assess mental illness, in order to be able to help someone process their mental illness, in order to be able to get someone the help they need, you have to go to school for how long? How long do you have to go to school for?
You have to get a master's degree. That means you're going to be in school
and
for at least 6
hours too. It's not just the school.
At least
you have like training hours.
6 to 7 years. You have to do a whole year of. I think it's 1,700 hours or something like that you need before you can even be out there clinically on your own. Mm-hmm. You know, and if you're a therapist, on top of that, you need to have your own therapist if you're being a therapist. Yeah. So it's all of those things, and I think police officers need, number one, have therapists themselves, and number two, they should definitely know how to de-escalate any situation.
I had a thought on a process that I think that should be considered, and of course this can be tweaked to a maybe more reasonable standard, but I feel like if you fire your weapon, it should be, if you fire your weapon, you have to account for every single bullet. And if you cannot account for every single bullet, like why you fired all of those bullets, if you can't account for that, then you lose a paycheck for every bullet you fire, right? If they can't figure out a whole paycheck. Okay,
I'm with that.
I don't think you're allowed to shoot first ever.
You kill someone on the job. You kill someone. You can't have a gun for a year. You're at a desk for a year.
On the flip side of this, like realistically, violent crime in America has been going down and down and down and down and down for the past 15 years. Like, we don't have violent crime like it was 10, 15 years ago. Like, it doesn't exist that way anymore, you know? And the numbers don't lie. If you look at the crime rates, robbery rates, all these different things, all those numbers have been escalating down for years. So there really isn't justification for the level of violence that police are doing. There's no justification for it.
No.
And
No,
they're not-
and look at like, you know, look at, okay, with what KP's saying right here, you know, why de-escalate things when you can have a power trip and a gun, right? That's so true. And I mean, I know you guys remember because we're around the same age.
Yeah.
And do you remember SWAT teams? Remember, like, when a situation called for potentially having to shoot someone, you brought out a team of people that were very specially trained for that sort of thing, and they had to get clearance in order to be able to do it.
Yeah.
All the gear and all the tools and toys that the SWAT teams had, now the cops just have that stuff. It's just it's readily available to all the cops. And
by our own government.
They just
probably because a bunch of cops got jealous and are like, oh, those guys have fun toys. I want to play with those toys.
But not just that. Once you raise a budget, you have to spend the money in that budget to justify
or you lose it.
The budget for next year.
Yeah.
And the cops get way too much fucking money. And part of the problem is they're dealing with stuff that they shouldn't be dealing with. Things like mental health issues. If we are funding those things, and you know, funding those things instead of giving that money to the cops can focus on their job, which is to stop crime, to prevent crime. That's the reason they're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And the best way to prevent crime is to have a very healthy education system.
That's right. To have services, to have communities with services, and like
I've said it, but here's. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rachel. I'm sorry.
What does a de-escalated police state look like? And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said it looks a lot like a suburb. I mean, that's what a suburb is. It's a low crime area, a low policed area.
Yeah.
You know, that's what
that has all the resources for the kids.
With
lots
of resources for the kids. Exactly.
Lots of resources for the kids.
What's the neighborhood like where Breonna Taylor lived? Is it what part of was she in St. Louis?
Louisville,
Kentucky. Louisville, Kentucky.
Two big. I lived in Kentucky many years ago, about 25 years ago for about 6 months. But there's two major cities in Louisville and Lexington, and Louisville is just over the border, like Ohio's right there. It's like right there on the Ohio River. So it's a big city. It's the University of Kentucky's there. Like it's a metropolitan area. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily like, I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't know what the crime statistics are. Sure. But Kentucky, I mean, when I was there, there's not much going on. But, you know, like, you know, it's country. It's farm land, most of it, you know.
Yeah. But I also agree, like, you know, the failed thing here too is also drug policy. Drug policy has failed in America, and we shouldn't be going after people, you know, with these drug-related crimes. Like, how big of a deal is it really?
Well, no, a drug-related crime, like if somebody gets high and sits in their house and they're high in their house, it's really nobody else's business.
Right.
You get high and you go rob a store and you shoot someone, you should probably be penalized.
Yeah.
But you should also be rehabilitated. And I think the problem that we're dealing with right now is that we have nearly completely given up on rehabilitation because there's an industry there where you have the prisons, bail bonds,
slave labor.
It's sick. It's disgusting, and it has to change. But the problem too is that it took a while to build up to where we're at, and it's going to take a while to build it back down to where we were or where we could be. We've never actually been where we need to be. So there's a lot of work to be done. And so in my thinking, I mean, one, we do need to defund things. But defunding does not mean taking money away and then not putting it elsewhere. Right. Defunding means defunding, then refunding, right? Defunding, then pre-funding. And that's key. I think that's really important, is to say a lot of those millions and millions of dollars, billions and billions of dollars spent on police forces throughout the country, take a chunk out of every single one of them and put it back into the community. And when you say put it into the community, you're putting it into mental health. You're putting it into housing. You're putting it into all these things that would make it so that folks don't. If I don't need to rob you because I have everything I need, I'm not going to rob you. If I do, then I might have a mental illness. I might be in trouble. There might be something wrong. So there are better ways of figuring that out and putting a stop to it that doesn't require being put in jail,
And half of the people killed by cops have a disability.
Yeah.
Half. And and largely brown and black men and women, but largely men who are autistic, deaf, or suffering a mental health breakdown.
Yeah, like that woman on the side of the freeway. Remember that video where that police officer was just beating her up, dude? Man, dude.
Yeah, I mean, there's a study. I'll forward it to you guys. It's a very interesting study, and it's a media study because there's never been any science studies. So basically, what this place did was they took all the news stories they could find about everybody that's been killed by cops, and they ran a comparison, and half of them are disabled. If we had somebody else to call for these incidents, like I'm sure you guys read about the 13-year-old autistic boy who had 11 bullets put into him by a cop.
Yeah, he was walking home.
His mom called for help. His mom called, and they shot her kid. And
That
I
happened
know about this because of my kid. They have these stickers for your car that say autistic person inside may not respond to demands, may fight you. And those stickers are not for paramedics. They're not for firefighters. What are the odds that you're going to need a paramedic or a fireman in your car? It's very low. Now, what are the odds as a Black or brown person who has a disabled child in their car, an autistic child or a child with Down syndrome, someone who, but mostly people that are disabled but don't look disabled. They don't have a disabled look to them. If a cop comes to the car and your kid doesn't respond in the way that they want them to, half the people killed by cops are disabled. I mean, it's a real fear. Those stickers are not for the paramedics and the firefighters. They're for cops. They say, please don't shoot my kid because they're different, and it's the fact that we have to do that is it breaks my heart, It's not as hard for me now that Arya now that she talks a little, but she didn't talk at all till she was about 4,
Yeah.
It's a real fear. If you don't respond the way they want you to, they just shoot you, and it's happened time and again. It's awful.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm with you on that. Like, the emotion is needed. Like, it is very troubling, the level of unchecked power police departments and police officers have within their own communities. And they are essentially on a level bullies, and I'm not talking about all police departments. Of course, I'm not talking about all police officers in general, but we know there is a culture of bully type attitude when it comes to how they deal with the public. If police officers having a bad day, everybody's going to have a bad day.
I chose poetry as a profession because apparently I hate money, and so I chose humor as a path in life, as another means of making a living, and I chose those two things because that's where my sensibilities lied. That's where, or lay, I should say. Yeah. That's where my sensibilities lay, and so. Because I chose that, it fits so naturally that I would be in a thing where I feel very comfortable because it's who I am. It's part of who I am. It's part of my mentality to be a sensitive person, but a better, you know, a career that makes sense for who I am. So when you look at police, when you look at people who choose to be a cop, and violence follows them wherever they go, there's a reason for that.
That's right.
It's because it fits with their sensibilities. It fits with their sensitivities, you know. And if you're not a terribly sensitive person, if you really don't care about others, you should not be a cop. You really should not be a cop.
Great.
Okay.
100%.
If you do not like people, because if you're going out there and everybody outside your cop car is a potential enemy,
Yeah.
then you aren't going to protect and serve. You're going to deflect and defend, and probably potentially hurt someone. You know, you really have to.
It's interesting to me how so many police departments and our policies are set up for police officers to believe that kind of ideology, that like the public is out to get them. Like nobody's spending time on a daily basis to go out and try and run up on cops. Like I mean, it happens. I get it. But like those are rare occasions, you know. There's a lot more cops out there running up on folks than vice versa, as far as I'm concerned. You know, it's a very rare thing because they know, you know, we all know what that is. You know, the threat of that is just like anything else. It's more rare than it actually does happen. If you look at the numbers, it's way more rare that happens than anything else. And cops have worked themselves up into this belief of believing, hey, well, I have to be scared of everybody around me. And you don't. Like, what are we going to do, really? You got a gun already. You got a baton. You got mace on you. You got a stun gun on you. You got a billy club. You got handcuffs.
You probably got a shotgun in your car.
You got a shotgun in your car. You got an assault rifle in your trunk. You have a first aid kit that is always too small. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, like, you're wearing a bulletproof vest already off top. Like those things are like, you're wearing all of that equipment already, and you're expecting, and then you're escalating situations.
It used to be a source of pride for a lot of cops back in the day. And I'm not saying that to be able to say, like, you never fired your weapon.
Yeah.
You know, like, I was a cop for 25 years and I never had to fire my weapon. It's like, damn, that's unheard of.
Now it's the opposite.
Yeah.
A point of pride. Now you got the executioners in the LA County Sheriff's Office who, like, I mean, I was hearing stories about LA County Sheriff's Office when I was 20. So 25 years ago, I moved in with this, like, as a nanny with this family, and the woman used to work in the sheriff's department there, and she told me horror stories. And this was 25 years ago of people hanging themselves in their cells, people getting beaten, people getting charged. Like, she was like, I had to leave. She said, I had to leave after a year. I was going to have a heart attack. It was so stressful. They were so corrupt and everything was so illegal. And so that department is 25 years older now. So just imagine how it is now. But, you know, there's lots of reasons that people become criminals. You know what I mean? There's socioeconomic reasons. There's, you know, there's lots of, we all know that. There's only one reason you want to be a cop, and that's because you want to carry a gun to work. That's it. If you want to be a cop, you want to have that power over other people, not just personal power, but state power over other people. It's a mentality, and
power and protection
and protection from your actions. Mm-hmm. And I don't talk about my marriage a lot. I got married very young to a person with that mentality. And when I met him, he was interning at the South Central Station in Los Angeles. He was trying to be LAPD. and they didn't let him in because he had hearing loss in his left ear. So he ended up working for customs and doing a couple other things. But he was that mentality. And the OJ verdict, I remember when the OJ verdict came up and they called him, LAPD called him and they said, you need to get down here and get in full riot gear. And we're all going to go out on the streets. And you guys, he was so excited. He was like a puppy. I thought he was going to pee himself. He was so jazzed to be put in that position. And when I left him, and it was not a good marriage. I'm definitely not getting into details of that. But there was one incident where I told him the next day that the marriage was over. And that was, we were in San Francisco and he ran a red light and we got pulled over. And he had just gotten his badge from customs. And the cop came up to the window of the car and asked to see my ex-husband's ID. And he pulled his ID out while letting the guy see his badge. And the cop goes, do you have something you want to show me? And my ex-husband showed him his badge. And the cop said, okay, you can go. And I was like, I need to get out of this marriage now because I am with someone who does not care about breaking the law as long as he is the law. Mm-hmm. It's a total mentality. And the next day I was like, I'm done. I'm like, you got to go, and lucky for me, he left. But I mean, it is a mentality. It draws them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's also like why the Proud Boys exist, because there's probably a bunch of ex-military people who, well, I'm making an assumption, like,
or wannabe
military, just to cut whatever else, or have this ideology, like they feel like they want to be John Cena in the fucking Marine movie or whatever. They see all these, I don't want to say movies, but there's this whole ideology of like a white man savior who's going to come in and blaze everything up and then save the world. Like, none of you Proud Boys are Tom Cruise, for real. Tom Cruise is 4'7" on a good day. And you guys don't even have the 10th of the training that he has to be able to act the way that he does in Mission Impossible. And there's no way that you could ever pull it off, B. You couldn't. You could not ever do it. So any Proud Boys out there, this is messaging directly from Atu Walker. This is the Mighty Late Show. I'm telling you right now, if you're a Proud Boy listening to this and your ears are peaked up, because I know that they're burning from the back. The reason why they're burning from the back, because you don't know anything. You haven't read a history book. You haven't done your due diligence about American policy. You haven't done your due diligence about the laws that are in your state and in your region, and you're only acting out on your privilege. Mm-hmm. And it's got to stop. You got to stop. Please stop for me.
I want to add to that and say I'd like to see any good cops out there start checking the bad ones.
Yeah, but what happens when they do?
Right, but that's the thing, right? Is that there needs to be like there
needs to be a culture shift in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So Atu, you threw up another. So this was Hella News number 2, headline number 2. But police body cam footage raises questions of Breonna Taylor case. What's
dropped off of Vice News, and so I don't know if we can, but if there's any way that we can look at the clip together, I don't know if it's.
No, I don't think that's. I don't think it's legal. I don't think I can legally show it.
But either way,
people can go look at it.
The bottom foot definitely raises a lot more questions than they answer. And the reason why I even brought it up as this thing is to continue the conversation is what we've been talking about. Is that culture of what it means to be a police officer and what they say to each other in the moment and how these things can quickly escalate. And so this is a perfect example of that. Every time that we see body cam footage come out and the police officers know that they have the body cams on and they still behave in a way that there is no, even the fact that we even have the body cams and then we have to spend 6 months, 7 months, 8 months getting the footage back, and it still is this stuff. They know what it is. You know what I mean? They don't want to release the body cam footage. They never do, because it's always, oh shit, these cops are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing. And I just want to put it out there. I want people to look at it. I like Vice News in terms of their investigative prowess. You know, when they go and hunt and find the stuff nobody wants to get, they're really good about executing the privacy. What is it? The Privacy Act or something? The Freedom of Information Act. So the Freedom of Information Act gets reporters and gets people information, and you can get the stuff. You just have to keep requesting it, and they can't not give it to you. Anybody in the public can. You can request for police reports, all these types. Some places have fees and this, that, and the other associated with it, but you can get the information if you really want it from any government agency. And so I'm thankful for that, because this is the type of stuff that they can't restrict from the public, even though they try everything. They try this thing where, oh, well, there's an ongoing investigation. No, there's this, there's that, there's these things, but all of it is relevant. And so, you know, if anybody get a chance to look into it, because it's all about the same thing that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Overreach and power.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the next, last but not least, Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett.
Yeah, she's scary.
She's very scary.
Tell me about her. I know nothing about her. I've literally read nothing.
Very religious, and is in. It's not quite a cult, but it's like a sect Catholicism where there's basically like a church hierarchy where they, you know, the parents decide who you marry, and like it's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
But her record is atrocious.
Really?
Record is atrocious. Yeah.
Where is she based?
She used to work
would overturn Roe v. Wade in
a heartbeat. Yeah.
So she's definitely there to overturn any protections that we have also in Affordable Care Act. So she's been very much against Affordable Care Act for many, many years. So I think the reason why they want her on the bench is so that they can continue to try and repeal the Affordable Care Act, and then also repeal Roe versus Wade. And it's very potential if she gets on the Supreme Court that can happen, unless some other type of policy comes out. And of course, they're probably going to challenge it as well. But you know, some of the laws that we have within our nation, yeah, she's come out to say that she wants to do that. She's come out to say that she wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. And what that's going to do is it's going to put a lot more American people in poverty, already on top of the pandemic situation. So we have a pandemic right now. Full-on pandemic. We have 30 to 50 million people in America right now that do not have adequate income on any level.
Me?
Yeah.
Adequate income on any level. And then they want to get rid of a safety net that barely meets anyone's standards. And it's very sad. It's very, 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 very sad if she gets on the bench. So, it's very likely that she might get on the bench before the inauguration. And that's just going to be a hard thing to deal with, because it might be the last straw, the last thing that Trump gets away with.
She's referred to abortion as always immoral. That's a quote. And then during her 3 years on the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals, she's a circuit judge. She has already ruled on 2 abortion-related cases, both times favoring restrictions on access.
Yeah.
Abortion.
She doesn't want people to have access to safe abortions.
Right.
And
I think the mentality behind that. I feel like the mentality behind that is if you're going to go through with it, you should be a criminal, and you should be criminalized, and you should suffer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary times, my friends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least we know now that there's no,
There's no light at the end of the tunnel.
well, no,
this is hella news. It's hella.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew whoever they put up was going to be horrible. It certainly wasn't his pick. There's no way Trump picked her,
He doesn't even know who he is. Like, real talk. Like,
definitely not.
This is his chief of staff. This is, the people that run. Yeah, Mitch McConnell. These are all they've had her. They're using the fact that she worked for Justice Scalia as a pedigree that they can kind of promote. But it doesn't. It's all of it is just horrible. It's horrible. Yeah, fuck 2020, but like fuck this bullshit right now. Like, sure. I get it that white supremacy is a thing of the past and it should be hell's heavy news. Yeah, but I mean, it's just. We have to do something about it. We have to know what's going on. It's our job because we have this platform or whatever it is that we're doing right now. If we're telling people about these things, like
I will say this. I noticed the other day. I saw an article, and this could be the media,
that we do something that protects the people around us. Nationwide, it might be different, but Let's hope that our local municipalities in California and other safe places do the right thing.
Yeah. I noticed the other day on the news, and this could just be, lefty news stuff, media stuff, but I noticed that anytime something happens to where it's not, and I consider myself very lefty, I'd be lying if I didn't claim that. But I've noticed that when lefties don't get what they want, we have a tendency to say, well, then we should probably just get rid of that whole thing. So, like, for example, the election didn't go the way we had thought it would in 2016, and Trump won, and everyone's like, well, then maybe we should get rid of the Electoral College. And then recently I saw a headline in some paper, some online paper that said something along the lines of, do we really even need the Supreme Court? and I just thought it's hilarious that when it's not going our way, the someone will float the idea of just getting rid of the whole thing. And I think in some ways there might be some validity to that kind of a statement, but I feel like I feel as though it's there. The way that it's going to change is going to be very slow, and it's going to be very uncomfortable for a lot of people throughout the entirety of that change, and that we won't feel it we won't feel it as a definitive change. You know what I mean? It'll feel more like it's going to feel more like, oh, wow, that doesn't hurt. That I haven't been paying as much attention to that thing because it's not as urgent anymore, in a weird way. And I think that's what scares people is that, I mean, that's why I made those stickers is I don't want us to forget how shitty this year feels, like I want us to remember, I think Stephanie said, I remember people talking about getting rid of the Electoral College when I was in high school back with G.W. Bush. And it's always liberals and Democrats who always want to get rid of the old systems that don't
represent us correctly.
And I get it. I definitely get it.
Lifetime appointments. I mean, Supreme Court, but lifetime appointments.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense anymore.
It doesn't make any sense. And that's the thing. As we evolve, and we do, every generation we evolve.
Yeah.
As we evolve, we need to evolve ideas.
Yeah.
There's a difference between respecting ancestry and respecting history and letting rules and laws that do not apply or help us anymore bog us down as a society.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at with, electoral college, gerrymandering, lifetime appointments to the Supreme Court. And
Absolutely.
what's happening is
Term
all
limit.
of this shit that has been steaming and bubbling for years, for hundreds and hundreds since the inception of America, we are now cracking. It's a boiling point. The zit is popping, and it's all coming up now.
It's a boil. It's not a zit anymore. It's a fat boil.
The sad thing is we need huge change. We need huge, big, sweeping change. And like you said, Mike, it's not going to happen that way. What's going to happen is there's going to be an election day. And that's the only thing we're sure of right now at this point, which is why I don't know if you notice I've been counting down on Facebook.
Election's gonna happen.
Is there will be an election day on November 3rd. That's the only thing I'm certain of. We won't have results on November 3rd. There will be an election, and the results of that election, we're going to go one of two ways. We are either going to deep dive into fascism, and we can just forget about how America ever was as a country, or we will slowly, incrementally inch our way towards being a little better. And that's not what we need. You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, I'm with the
sweeping platform changes, and it's not how it works.
I agree with you. Like those are we're in that juxtaposition for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think incremental change is going to work anymore. I think like we need to have more, just like they have infiltrated every system in our systems, we need to infiltrate these systems and change them from within. Like if we're talking about systematic change, then like we got to convince our cousin Pookie to go and become like a lawyer or something. Like cousin Pookie, it's time for you to get your shit together and become a lawyer. Like we have to do these things in order to fight on the same level. We have to come at fools. And it's sad, but like if we need to topple the government at some point to do it, then I'm with that too. Because if the quick change has got it, that's a quick change right there. That's where we all take our arms and our bodies and put it up against the system. But I think I don't know if folks is ready for that in this day and age. Like you can't fight that fight on Fortnite, you know what I mean? Like we can't have civil war on Fortnite, peeps. Like that's some real face-to-face kind of stuff. My generation of people, I know we with that. Like I remember them fights, but I don't know if the kids, the 25-year-olds, the 20-year-olds, the 19-year-olds really know what that life is like, and it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be real rough out here, It's gonna be real rough. So I'm scared of that. That's what I'm scared of. I'm scared of this fool who's our current president not stepping down.
Yes, that's the next big fear right there.
No president in American history has lost, and that's the thing that happened with the second election or something like that. There was a potential. There was a potential for us to fight again, and George Washington decided, you know what? I'm just going to step down. I'm not going to contest it. I get the election is contested. I've done enough of my time. I'm going to let this situation go on. And that's how we got our second president, because he decided to step down and let whatever the contested thing not be contested anymore and let the results be what supposedly they were. Mm-hmm. And I was able to, and so even we had a contested election with Al Gore, hugely contested election. He could have fought that in courts for months and probably would have won, but instead he went with tradition and stepped down. And he's talked about it. He legit had more votes. At the time, he legit had more votes. But he chose to step down. So we all have to understand that there has to be some decorum here. And if this man He should have stepped down when Hillary won. Really, he should have been like, she won a popular vote. I'm done. Like he should have did that.
Well, I think the problem there is that we put so much emphasis on the Electoral College, and so it wasn't a matter of, there was never a you got to hit 65 million votes in order to win, or whatever the number would be in terms of popular vote, right? And instead we put it on that, was it 270? Was it 270? Something like that? Yeah. Florida. Melissa says Florida screwed Al Gore. I remember that. I remember listening to the radio.
And the governor at
watching
the time,
news.
George Bush's
It was a
brother.
dude named Chad. All the Chads.
Jeb Bush.
Jeb Bush. It was a family coup.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And then what we got was Cheney running the country for 8 years.
Yeah.
And that was not fun.
No, it wasn't. Mm-mm.
No, and honestly, anyone who's like, George W. Bush doesn't seem so bad. It's like, that dude's a war criminal, more than likely.
Sure.
Like,
Definitely. What are you talking about? More than likely.
no, I'm just saying, like there's a certain sense of certainty that he was involved in some heinous shit. Cheney is probably even more of a war criminal than George W. Bush. But either way, the two of them just were clearly in it for business.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly in it to make money. The same thing with Donald Trump. It's the world's greatest, business opportunity. I mean, and I mean, you could say that about any president outside of maybe Jimmy Carter, and I don't, I'm sure he's got dirt, but
that for humanity, but I don't know if that's like a thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you make money off of that, but
yeah.
I guess that was off color in my head.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's the thing. I want to. We're gonna get off of this in a second, but I would like to end on a slightly
Less bummer.
less bummer. Right?
Less bummer note.
Less bummer note.
What I'd like to do is I'd like us to now. It's time for Dear Mighty. Dear Mighty is the part of the show where we offer you advice on any topic. So just put your topic in the old chat there. Whether you're watching on Facebook, whether you're watching on my page, Mighty Mike McGee, or you're watching on the Mighty Late page, or you're watching on YouTube, go ahead, throw in your question. If you need advice, we've had a lot of viewers throughout this episode who've stayed with us for a good chunk of our show. This show is about 2 hours long, and so I do appreciate you all sticking with us as we discuss these topics with you. And I'm going to also put some links in the. I have to say, if you haven't been to SanJoseInside.com, it's a very good news source for local news. I'm very, very happy with it. And I admittedly, I write for the Metro, and it is owned by the Metro. So I'm a little biased. So I do want to put that out there. But I do want to point out that they are really nailing it, and a lot of it is thanks to Grace Hazy, Jen Wadsworth, and a number of other writers, a number of other journalists who are really kind of just killing it. Yeah, they're doing a great job. So I posted a couple of articles on San Jose's own body cam footage issues and an article on Breonna Taylor.
That editorial was dope.
Her name.
Say her name.
So if anyone's got any advice that they need on anything, Atu, do you need advice on anything? We can start with you. We can start with Rachel. I could actually probably use some advice. There's
what's going on?
So love in the time of COVID, right? There's someone I like. Yeah. Yeah.
Word.
And I don't know how do you tell someone you like them when you can hardly even be around them, you know? How do you tell someone like, holy crap, I think you're amazing. I want to learn a second language for you, you know?
Wow. Second language.
Yeah, why not?
So
Impressive.
I can tell you what I did.
You froze.
Yeah.
So I don't know if what I did was effective. I just know that I stayed consistent with how I felt. And I never wavered or questioned it. I kind of just kept hitting her up. Kept sliding in the DMs, sliding into texts, just dropping some sweet gems here and there. Like I'll read you a text that I recently sent to a person.
Now I can't wait. Holy shit.
I know who they are, and it doesn't matter, but I sent a text because I was really like, I was feeling some kind of way and I was having a bad day, but then like I sent them a text and they said, sometimes I have the emotional range of a lost rhino. What I do know is I've never lost when I have the opportunity to be with you.
It's very sweet.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I have no advice. I've been with no one for 7 years. I have worst taste.
Same.
I haven't, and I've never hit on anybody sober either. So I have no idea how to go about, like, in my life now, how I would go about like hitting on somebody. You know what I mean?
It's weird. It's so
usually
strange.
you got a couple drinks in you, right? You got a little the old liquid courage.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
No, it's different.
No advice for you at all. I don't know. Tell her you like her.
I guess so. It's weird. It just feels like high school.
Yeah.
Like all over again. You know?
Yeah.
No, dude, like don't get caught up in that feeling. Be very adult with it. Be very realistic.
Just
you know,
like,
just
send her a
put
note.
yourself out there.
Do you want to glory hole with me? Check this box for yes, this box for no. Because that's how you're supposed to do it now, right? Glory hole sex in the times of COVID.
I think so.
Style,
yeah.
style glory hole.
A Mormon sheet.
Mormon sheet. Just be like, you want to get your Mormon sheet on with me? Do you want to do some bundling with me?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Kristen's got some good advice there. Don't underestimate the power of a handwritten letter in the mail. Okay. That's a good point. And you know, it's funny is that I actually I got their address by receiving a box of some they dropped something off, and so I now have their address, so I could send a letter. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Sarah. Oh, wait, hold on, Sarah. Does this mean we're not getting married now? We lost Atu.
Yeah, we did.
He was so smitten. He was so smitten with his own text. He had to go.
Really excited. Maybe he had to go text her right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, man. I don't know what happened.
Oh. Curtis,
that's not a good idea, Curtis.
I mean,
Curtis, no.
These are all really good suggestions, you guys.
It's not the worst idea. Sarah Levine, I would marry you in a heartbeat.
There you go.
But I also don't want it to. I don't want you to settle, you know, because I feel like you. I feel like your type is Paul Rudd, and I'm like Paul Chubb, you know.
No, that attitude's got to stop, Mike.
No.
You're a beautiful man.
Hold on. I'm beautiful. Yes, I am. Okay, I am. But I'm not attracted to every beautiful person in the world. You know, neither are you. You know,
I have a problem with that. I think
you're beautiful, right? You're beautiful, right? But not every single person is going to be attracted to you. Beauty and attraction are not mutually exclusive.
That's true.
Right? So
that's true. Can you? Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with that. Like I think before now I really didn't know what it meant.
Oh,
like I didn't know what it meant to like really be with somebody that liked me back and that I liked like on the same level. I think I think there has been like different levels here and there. Like there's definitely situations more often than not. Like I love the person a whole lot more than they even think about me, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I've been on the other end where the person that really likes me, I'm really just not that into. Just for whatever reason, I'm just not that into them. And
and I, you know, thank you, Sarah. I do appreciate you saying that. Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like I'm like the ugliest person in the world.
no,
But but at the same time, like I'm a realist, you know, and it's just like, I don't, you know, there are just people out there who I'm not going to be appealing to, and I can't blame them because there are plenty of people in the world that I don't find visually appealing necessarily, or, you know, like there's plenty of people who are real ugly on the inside, you know, and I definitely don't want to have to wake up next to them, you know. I definitely don't want to have to be in their life, you know. And in my case, I would end up trying to help change them, which is like also none of my business. So, you know,
not necessarily healthy for either one of you.
No.
Yeah, that's tough. That's always a tough gig.
Yeah.
Like it's better if somebody's already baked and they know what their stuff is and you have a conversation about it. Like it's a lot more fun. And then, yeah, you just have to establish your boundaries really well.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like that's all it is. Like establish your boundaries like bank policy.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah.
So something for them to sign when they come in the room.
Yeah. It's just, you know, don't overdraft all the time because it's going to be a problem. You know, you don't want to run into that.
It's a weird time because a lot of the stuff that we used to think of as romantic, you know, like showing up under a girl's window or like, you know,
holding a boombox
letter, you know, stuff that back in the day the movies were made on, these great sweeping romantic gestures that now women would look at and be like, dude, you're creeping me out, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and that's
flavor and language of it is different now, and I don't know how to access it at all.
If see, and for me, it's like if folks know me, they generally really like me, you know, and so I'm you know, people in general, not necessarily romantically, but I'm not gonna lie, like there've been plenty of times, especially when I was on the road, when I was touring, and I was in places where I didn't necessarily like that I was not part of, I wasn't from, you know, I'd get in an elevator to, you know, head up some building, and there would be a woman in there by herself, and like I could feel their like concern. I could feel their like, I'm a beefy dude, you know, a hairy beefy dude who, if you don't know me, I could be a creepy dude, you know, like, but it's hard to see it when you know me. No. It's hard to see that when you know me. If you know me, you know, like I'm essentially a Teddy Ruxpin that doesn't need a tape, you know. That's for all you oldies out there.
Teddy Ruxpin, that's funny.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that like it's for me, it's gonna be all personality, you know, like I kind of have to win people over with my personality, and I've always been that way. Now,
no, but has it ever been different? Like, I think people that are really in good relationships in general, they really get along with that person. You know, I've never seen, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, yeah, I think some people do hook up for looks and they're going to get divorced, and it's sad, you know, but most of the time when I see like good relationships, despite how the people look, and they treat each other really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like, honestly, well, it's funny. I've been thinking about the phrase settling lately, just like what that means. And it's like, I honestly think that in most cases, settling is just somebody waking up and realizing that they're being realistic. You know? They're saying, no. They're saying like, I get along with this person. I get along with this person, And it's not necessarily about looks. It's about I could be with them for a very long time. I don't even know that I believe in
involved. Yeah.
I don't know that I necessarily even believe in forever, and I feel like most people you sort of like I think in most cases you just need to be attracted to somebody enough on every level.
Yes.
Right? And that you
You'll
want
do.
What's that?
You'll do.
Yeah, well, it's you're the best of the rest, like you like I've checked out a bunch of people over the years, and you're the one who I haven't deleted their phone number, like you're the one that I'm down to wake up next to or near, I know a couple, they were married for 50 years. And the secret to their marriage was that they had separate bedrooms in the same house. They did not sleep next to each other for 50 years. And what they would do is they would invite the other into their room when they were feeling frisky. You'd be like, hey, you want to... Their excuse was that one of them snored. And so they couldn't sleep next to each other because they snored. And it's like, I know you snore, Atu. I've been around you while you sleep. But nobody snores more than my buddy Gino out in Dallas, Texas. That dude, no kidding, could rattle the foundation of a house with his snoring. And he had a girlfriend he was the big spoon. He was the biggest spoon. He was a ladle, and she was a teaspoon, And she slept right. He's wrapped around her, and she slept like a log while he was cutting logs all night long, just blows my mind. That's love.
Yeah.
That is love.
Used to it, I think.
I think it's like when it's a sound made by somebody you care about, it becomes a sound that you want to be around, it's everything is a reminder of the love,
I love that. Everything is a reminder of the love. That's some good stuff right there. Good paintbrush with that.
I'll start making t-shirts. I think we should probably head out, folks. No one asked for any advice.
No.
So,
today.
Not today. It's fine. I'll just have to remind people at the beginning of each show. So the next episode is October 10th, Saturday, October 10th at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Alex had something to say here. You're a good-looking guy, Mike. I'd just say keep flexing your good qualities. Show your interest by showing this person you think they're special. It doesn't hurt to tell them how you feel, but if this person doesn't feel the same way, it's all good. At least you made a good friend to have in your life. Hope that helps. Y'all helped me with my headache, so I appreciate you folks. We appreciate you, Alex, big time. Thanks. That's good advice. I think I'm gonna write a handwritten letter. So we'll be back here October 10th, Saturday, October 10th, 8 p.m. sharp Pacific time. Follow Facebook.com/Mighty Mike McGee. You can also follow us on Mighty Late right here on Facebook, and follow me on YouTube. Just look for Mighty Mike McGee on YouTube, and you'll find my channel. And you can also you could check out on iTunes. You should check out Atu's podcast, Co-Parent Trap.
Yeah, Atu and PX. Yeah, we do it.
How many episodes have you guys done so far?
We've done one episode, but we're going to do another episode pretty soon.
It's a great concept.
Yeah.
It's a really good concept.
Basically us talking with ourselves and other people about what it's like to co-parent during this day and age.
Yeah.
And it's just very general, but the whole thing is just talking about parenting and what people are going through and how to be better parents and be there for their kids, even though they may or may not get along with their co-parent.
Yeah. I don't know anyone that deals with that. Yeah. That's great. Thank you, Atu. If you want to support the Mighty Late Show, you can send some change to Venmo at Mighty Mike McGee. But honestly, right now, you're probably better off sending some money to Vote Blue, any other Black Lives Matter campaign. By all means,
registration drives, anything.
Yeah.
Going.
Or to
Yeah.
Tanqueray, if you're following her story on Humans of New York.
Oh yeah.
Tanqueray.
Tanqueray?
Money, hit up her GoFundMe. If you don't know the Tanqueray story, hit up Humans of New York and check it out.
Is it Tanqueray like spelled like the alcohol?
Great.
Tanqueray.
Yeah. It's like the one thing that brings me joy these days is following her story, which is pretty amazing.
That's what's up.
On October 10th, tune in, and we will be covering the upcoming election propositions, and we'll be talking about the propositions. There's a couple of great websites that you should all check out, especially for the local stuff. If you live in the South Bay, send me a message and your address, and I will throw some Fuck 2020 stickers in your mailbox, your snail mailbox. I was actually really impressed. I sent some out to a friend, and he got them within 36 hours. I mean, he lives in San Jose, so I was impressed. I was very impressed. Sarah Levine says yes, Tanqueray is awesome. I'll have to check that out. I know nothing about Tanqueray other than the beverage. So, was there anything else, Rach? Did you have anything that you would like to share? You'd like people to check out?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there actually is going to be a sofa this year.
Ooh.
We're doing sofa again. We're going to do it a little different than the online version we did last time in the spring, where we're actually going to have live stages and film that content and then stream that. So it's going to be 5 stages. They're all COVID safe. It's all city approved. And that will be the day after our next show, Sunday, October 11th.
Sunday, October 11th.
Yeah,
Sofa.
From 2 to 8. It'll be an online event, but we're filming all the bands live.
That's dope.
Sofa Music Fest?
Sofa Music Fest.
October 8th.
October 11th.
Oh, 11th.
October 11th.
2 to 8.
That's it. Just the stuff I do with you guys, the comedy show and this.
That's great. I'm putting it in the chat. So you can, I would imagine you could just Google Sofa Music Fest and find the website. I don't remember exactly what it is. But yes.
Circus of Sin next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
October 3rd, 8 p.m. Circus of Sin. Check them out. They're going to be online. Circus of Sin on Instagram. Circus of Sin on Facebook. Circus of Sin.
They also have a website too.
circusofsin.com. Check them out. I think they're doing an online situation with that, having all the performers. They got a big old list of performers. It's really dope.
It'd be great. Their first online event. Their first online Circus of Sin. I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
Thanks to River Black for being part of our show tonight.
River, you are a brilliant national treasure.
He's a treasure.
You know that? You know that?
He's a treasure.
Treasure. You're a treasure.
Treasure.
I put the link in for circusofsin.com, so you should be able to find information there. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, that's it, folks. I think we're done.
Yeah, have a good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm having a hot flash right now. I don't know if you can tell.
Ooh, I've been having a hot flash.
It's nice.
I feel warm. I also got to pee so bad too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Much love to you too, Justin Brown. Much love to you as well. All right. I'm going to end this broadcast. We'll see you guys all October 10th right here on YouTube and on Facebook Live. Good night, everybody.
Good night.